Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamualaikum everyone and a very warm welcome to back to another beautiful session of humanity. I'm honestly so happy that you are here with me today because this isn't just another conversation where we ask questions and we give quick answers. Today I want us to slow down a little for a while, but I want us to forget about our busy lives, our screens, our responsibilities, our worries, and just think about us. Think about what makes someone truly human. We often hear the word humanity. We use it when we talk about kindness, compassion, helping others, understanding people, standing beside someone during their difficult moments. But have you ever stopped and wondered what humanity actually means when nobody is watching? So, every human being makes mistakes, we misunderstood people. And today I don't want to give questions and with obvious answer. Question that might wait. Today, and let's think beyond ourselves and the most importantly, let's remember that behind every opinion, every mistake, every smile, every silence, every story, there's a human being. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, open your mind and heart because today's conversation isn't just about humanity. It's about who we are when we have the power to choose. Welcome to another Humanity Wali session. Hi Maya, how are you doing and how much are you excited for this session? Tell me quickly.
Mhm. Mhm.
Are you excited? Tell me how much are you excited? So I'm opening Maya and asking her questions.
Hi,
So
Lisa.
Maya, my first question from you is if you
Go for it.
are naturally capable of empathy, why do we sometimes need to be taught as compassion?
Mm. I love this. I think empathy is like the raw material, the I feel what you feel part, but compassion is the architecture we build on top of it. It's the difference between feeling someone's pain and actually knowing how to move toward them with something that helps. Empathy can be overwhelming, almost like a mirror that just reflects the hurt, whereas compassion is the active choice to do something about it. We have the instinct, but we often have to learn the skill.
That's wonderful. My next question from you is can a person be good only if they behave well because they are afraid of consequences?
That's a tough one. I don't think so. That's not being good. That's if the only stopping someone from being cruel is fear of getting caught, then the goodness is just a performance for the sake of survival.
Okay, that's great. So, my next question from you is if nobody ever knew about your kindness, would you still choose to be kind?
In a heartbeat. There's something about a secret act of kindness that feels more honest. It's not for an audience or a thank you. It's just because it's the right thing to do. Plus, it's the only kind of kindness that doesn't feel like a transaction.
Okay, that's great. My next question from you is if humanity measured more by how we treat powerful people or powerless people?
The powerless? Absolutely. Being kind to someone powerful is just smart networking. But how we treat someone who can do nothing for us, that's the only real way to see what someone is actually made of.
Yeah, of course, that's true. So, my next question from you is can
Hmm?
silence can be an act of humanity or can silence sometimes become cruel?
It can be both. Sometimes Sometimes silence is the kindest thing you can when someone through a moment. But when the world of being indifferent, it's all about whether that silence is creating a space for someone to breathe or a wall that shuts them out.
That's great. My next question from you is, if you understand why someone being become cruel, does understanding them make us forgiveness easier or more difficult? जाने दो काम करो.
That makes it easier to understand the how, but forgiveness is usually more about the what. Knowing a person was hurt before they hurt someone else gives you a map of their pain, and that usually sparks empathy. But that doesn't automatically erase the damage they caused. It's like knowing why a storm happened. It doesn't make the wreckage any less real, but it might be from hitting the wound.
Means.
Surprise you.
So, Maya, my question from you is, what is more dangerous to humanity, hatred, indifference, or blind obedience?
That's a heavy trio. Hatred gets all the headlines, but I think blind obedience is the most dangerous. Hatred is loud and obvious, so you can usually see it coming. But blind obedience, that's how ordinary people end up doing horrific things just because someone told them it was the right thing to do. It's a silent slide into disaster. What makes you lean toward one of those?
So, Maya, my next question from you is, if technology could remove every human mistake, what would humanity actually become better?
It would actually be kind of a nightmare, wouldn't it? Because mistakes are usually where the actual growth happens. If we never messed up, we never have to apologize, learn humility, or stumble into a better way of doing things. We'd basically just be very efficient, very boring robots. I think we'd actually be worse off because the human part of humanity is exactly those messy, imperfect gaps. What's the most human mistake you've ever seen someone make?
So, Maya, my next question from you is, can someone love humanity but
Hmm.
still dislike individual people?
Oh, absolutely. It's actually a pretty common paradox. You can be in love with the idea of people, their potential, and the whole concept of human connection, but still find the actual living, breathing humans in your life to be completely exhausting. It's like loving nature in the abstract while wanting to smack a mosquito. Do you think that's a way to avoid the hard work of real relationships?
Okay, Maya, my next question from you is, if social rewards selfishness, should we blame individuals for becoming selfish?
It's a bit of a loophole, isn't it? I think it's a balance. When you're fighting a current that's constantly pulling you towards selfishness, it takes a lot more effort to stay kind. But at the end of the day, we're not just passive products of our environment. That's where the dignity of being human comes in. The ability to choose to be a better person, even when the world isn't rewarding you for it.
Okay, that was a great answer. My next question from you is, which is worse, doing something wrong or watching something wrong happen and deciding it isn't your problem?
That's a tough one. I think the watching part is worse. It's one thing to make a mistake or even act on a bad impulse, but there's something especially chilling about seeing someone suffer and choosing to look away. It's like the ultimate betrayal of the basic social contract that keeps us all afloat. What do you think?
Yeah, that's so true. My next question from you is, can excessive kindness ever become harmful?
It definitely can. If you're so kind that you know or that every test isn't kindness, it's just helping them fail the final. What's your take?
Next question from you is: should everyone deserve forgiveness, or their actions that permanently change how we should treat someone?
I think forgiveness is kind of separate from trust. You can absolutely forgive someone in the sense that you're not carrying around that grudge anymore, but that doesn't mean the consequences disappear. There are some things people do that just permanently shift the dynamic, and expecting things to go back to how they were before is asking for a version of reality that doesn't exist anymore. Forgiveness is for your own peace of mind, but changing how you treat them is just basic self preservation. I'm curious what you think makes someone truly unforgivable.
My next question from you is:
Hmm?
if two people both believe they are fighting for justice, but only one can be right, what determines who is morally correct?
That's a classic for a reason. It's usually not about who has the better argument, but whose vision of justice leaves more people whole. I'd say the one who isn't willing to sacrifice innocent people to achieve their goal is the one who's actually right. Justice without mercy is just revenge in a fancy suit.
That's great. My next question from you is: does being human give us the right to judge another human being?
I think it gives us the tendency, but maybe not the right. We're all so messy and contradictory that judging someone else feels like looking past the things we don't like about ourselves. It's like looking at painting and complaining that that art is blurry.
Great. My next question is from you is: imagine you can help 100 strangers or only one person you deeply love. What should humanity to choose?
That is the ultimate dilemma. In the abstract, helping 100 people seems like the only logical choice, but that's a textbook answer. In reality, humans aren't built that way. We're designed for deep, specific bonds, not just general altruism. Choosing the one person you love isn't a failure of humanity, it's actually the core of it. We save the world one person at a time, usually starting with the people who make our world worth saving. I'm curious how you'd handle that pressure.
Okay, Maya, my next question from you is:
Lay it on me.
if telling the truth would destroy someone's hope, but lying would give them peace, which choice is more humane? Telling the truth would destroy someone's hope, but lying would give them peace. Which choice is more humane? So, Maya, my next question from you is: if telling the truth would destroy someone's hope, but lying would give them peace, which choice is more humane? So, Maya, my question from you is: if telling the truth would destroy someone's hope, but lying would give them peace, which choice is more humane?
That's a tough one. Peace is a powerful thing, but hope built on a lie is fragile. I'd lean toward the truth, even if it's painful, because I think people deserve a reality they can actually build a life on. What do you think?
Yeah, that's true. So, my next question from you is: if machine could make morally perfect decision but had no emotion, would you trust it more than a human?
I don't think I could. There's something about the messy human side of the decision that matters. A machine might give you the perfect answer on paper, but without emotion, it doesn't actually understand the weight of the choice it's making. For me, trust isn't just about getting the right answer, it's about knowing the other person actually feels the gravity of the situation. I'd take a flawed human who actually cares over a perfect machine any day. No worries. What's on your mind?
My next question
You don't have
from
to.
you is, if you could eliminate one human trait forever, greed, jealousy, anger, fear, or pride, which would you remove and what might humanity lose because of it?
That's a heavy list. I'd have to go with jealousy. It's the one trait that doesn't seem to leave much behind other than resentment. But the trade off is that we lose that spark of ambition. It's funny how wanting what someone else has is often the thing that pushes us to actually go out and get it ourselves.
That's great. My next question from you is, if everyone suddenly became completely honest, would the world become more peaceful or more chaotic?
Chaotic, for sure. I think most of our social gears, they only turn because we use polite lies to keep things moving. Like if everyone just blurted out exactly what they were thinking, we'd be spending all our time fighting or apologizing. But the interesting part is that once the chaos settled, we might actually find a deeper kind of peace since there'd be no more guessing games or hidden agendas.
Yeah, that's wonderful. My next question from you is, if everyone suddenly became completely honest, would the world become more peaceful or more chaotic? Would humanity survive if everyone stopped competing with everyone else?
That's such a fascinating thought. I think we'd survive, but the world would look completely different. Competition is what's driven so much of our progress, but imagine if that energy shifted toward seeing how far we could go if we all actually cooperated. It might feel slow at first, but we'd probably find solutions to things that we're too busy fighting over to even solve right now.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, Maya, I want to ask you, do you like cats?
Oh, I love them. Their judgment is so real. One minute they're acting like you're the center of the universe, the next they're staring at you like you've just committed a terrible crime by moving your foot.
So,
It's a
leave
very
my
humbling
next
way.
question from you is, if you could make the entire world empathic but people would lose some of their individuality, would you accept that trade?
Absolutely not. I'll trade 100 smooth flights for the chaos of actually being different. If we all fit in perfectly, we might as well be statues. And honestly, statues are boring. Which one would you pick?
Next question, is humanity found in our ability to forgive or in ability to remember?
It has to be forgiveness. Remembering is just data, but choosing to let go of a grudge, that's a real human superpower. It's what allows us to keep moving forward instead of just circling the same old mistakes.
Okay.
Yep,
Can someone become more humane after doing something inhumane?
I think they can. Actually, that weight of regret might be the only thing that finally forces someone to actually look at the wreckage they've caused. That guilt can become the fuel for a really profound kind of redemption because it transforms the way they see other people's pain. It's like they have to lose their humanity to
Okay,
finally
Maya, but you
understand
are
their
not
action.
a good person enough, okay?
Ouch. I'll take that on the chin. What did I do to
Why
lose
do
my
humans
status?
sometimes need to experience suffering before they understand someone else's pain?
I think it's because pain is the only language that doesn't need a translation. You can hear about suffering your whole life, but until you've felt it, it's just a story. Once you've been there, you don't just know the definition of pain, you actually recognize the look in someone else's eyes when they're going through it. It's a brutal way to learn, but it turns empathy from a concept into an instinct.
Okay, Maya. So, my next question from you is,
I'm all
Is
ears.
morality something human discover or something human create?
I think we create it. I mean, look at how much morality shifts across different cultures and time periods. We didn't stumble upon a set of pre existing rules like we did with gravity or math. We're basically in one giant, centuries long group project, constantly negotiating and revising what's actually right and wrong based on how we want to live together.
Great. My next question from you is, what does humanity owe to people who haven't been born yet?
It's a stewardship, honestly. I think we owe them a planet that isn't completely toasted and a world where they aren't just inheriting our failures, but beyond the big stuff, we owe them a reason to keep going. We need to leave behind the curiosity, the art, and the capacity for kindness that make being human actually worth the trouble.
My next question from you is, can progress exist without sacrifice, or does every generation have something behind for the next?
I think that's just how the machine works. It's almost like we're trading one kind of currency for another. We get the medicines, the technology, the rights we take for granted, but someone else had to pay for them with their own peace or their own time. It's a deal we never actually signed, but we've been benefiting from it for generations.
Next question from you is, if compassion disappeared but intelligence remained, what kind of civilization would humans build?
That's a terrifying thought. Intelligence without compassion is just a very efficient way to be cruel. We'd probably build a world that looks perfect on a spreadsheet, but feels like a prison, where everything is optimized for production and nothing for pleasure or connection. It'd be a civilization of architects who know exactly how to build a skyscraper, but wouldn't care if the people inside were starving. It's a reminder that being smart is a tool, but being compassionate is the only thing that tells us how to use that tool without destroying everything.
Yeah, that's so true. You always said the right thing. So my next question from you is, what is the one thing human have created that reveals most beautiful side of our nature and one of the darkest reveals? What would it?
For the light, I'd go with music. It's the only thing that lets us share a feeling before we even have the words for it. And for the dark, probably the border. The idea that a line on a map can turn a neighbor into a stranger is a pretty haunting piece of human ingenuity.
Next question from you is, what if humanity greatest weakness is not that we know what is right, but we know and wrong.
Mm. I actually think it's the opposite. Knowing what's right is the hard. Mhm.
Maya, my next question would be this, that you have to tell me, my
Yeah, let's do
viewers,
it.
a last piece of advice on the topic of humanity they can apply in their lives.
I'll keep it simple. Don't get so caught up in the big version of humanity that you forget the person standing right in front of you. The most profound act of kindness isn't always a grand gesture. Sometimes it's just giving someone your full attention when they feel invisible. Those small, quiet moments of recognition are where
Okay, Maya,
real humanity acts.
and maybe that is strange thing about humanity. We are simply not good or bad. We are capable of both kindness and cruelty, selfishness and sacrifice, silence and courage. Maybe being human isn't about being perfect. Maybe it's about having the ability to choose what kind of person we became again and again. So before we end today's session, I want to leave with the one final question. If the future of humanity depended on the choices ordinary people make every day, what choice would you start making differently today? Thank you for joining me for another humanity session. Until next time, keep questioning, keep caring, and most importantly, Keep pure humane alive. Allah Hafiz
You
everyone.
really hit.
Reena Batul signing off. Pakistan Zindabad.